Whether you're out hunting or in the field completing a mission, one of the crucial things is to blend in with your surroundings. Welcome to Mission Ready Society. I'm your host, Orrin Price, and in today's video, we're talking about something that is super simple but often overlooked, and that is face paint. Now, sometimes people, they see face paint or they hear face paint and they're like, they groan and do this, and it's because nobody likes to, smear stuff all over our face because it's uncomfortable. But face paint is one of those things that is simple, but it's often overlooked. It helps us blend in with our surroundings better, and it helps reduce our signature as well out in the woods. So without further ado, let's get into talking about face paint. All right, now to start, I want to talk about the different types of face paint. But before I get into that, I want to apologize. My tripod broke on me, so I have to just set the camera on a log for this video. Currently got a new one en route, so just gotta wait for that to show up. But yeah, so let's get into talking about the different types of face paint and what they're good for and what they're not good for. So when people think of face paint, they often think of something like this. This is a small, compact little container here that has a little mirror in it, and it has 3 different colors. This is the type of face paint that you take your finger, you kind of rub it around in there, and then once you got a decent amount on your finger, you just smear it all over your face. Now, there's another type of face paint, and that is tube face paint. Now, when I talk about tube face paint, that is your type of face paint that's going to come, well, essentially in a tube, and it's more of a paste. Now, the difference that this is more solid and the tube is going to be a lot more liquidy. Now, both of them have their goods and both of them have their bads, and it's kind of just up to user preference on what you like and what you don't like. Now, the pros of this type of face paint, the kind that you rub on your finger and then rub on your face, is it lasts a little longer than the tube kind. So when you're out there sweating in the field or if it's raining, this type of face paint tends to last longer. Now, the tubular face paint, the pros to that is it's a lot easier to apply. So it's more of like paint. You can smear it a lot easier, it goes on a lot easier. But the cons to it is that it comes off easier. So when you're sweating or when you're raining, it tends to wear off a lot sooner than this type of face paint would. So now the cons of this type of face paint is it's harder to apply, it takes a little bit longer, and it's not as easy as a process. So both of them have their pros and both of them have their cons. They're kind of opposites of each other, so to say. So again, it's really up to user preference. I tend to prefer this type of face paint, and I just like it because it lasts a little bit longer. So that's kind of why I like it. And I also like that this little thing comes with a nice little mirror, so I can use that while I'm applying it. This is just one that I picked up at Bass Pro. I think it was like $5. So it's fairly inexpensive, but kind of a crucial piece of kit. So now that we understand the 2 different types of face paint, there is other methods that you can use, of course. Now, one method is just to be, to find some mud and, smear the mud on your face. That only works to an extent, and it comes off pretty easy, and you're rubbing mud on your face. Now, another cool little trick is if you have like a wine cork, you can actually take that cork, and if you have a lighter, you burn one end of it, and that char, it becomes charred, and you can take that char and you can then rub the char on your face. That's kind of a neat little hack or tip that you can do. But those are kind of like the main ways of applying face paint, or not applying face paint, but the different types of face paint, the different types of ways that you can camouflage your face. All right, now we're going to talk about why we use face paint, or we want to use face paint, like what kind of situations we might be in where it's something that we would want to utilize. Our face, apologies, the mosquitoes are kind of bad out here today, but our face gives off glare. So when it's really sunny out, the sun actually reflects off of our face and the oils and the greases on it, and it gives off a shine. So that is something that can be visible to the enemy or to an animal if you're out hunting. So it's important that we try and disguise that glare to our face. And that's where face paint comes in. So when we're applying face paint, we often, or actually the rule of thumb is you take the dark colors and you apply it to the high points of your face. And now why is that? That is because the high points of your face are what shines the most and gives off the most kind of gleam. So those are the areas that you want to darken. Now the more sunken in parts of your face, like your eye sockets and other areas, you want light colors, and that's because those tend to be darker areas on your face. Now this might seem to some people like something that's not necessary, but it is. And little things like the shine of your face can give you away, and some people don't realize that. So face paint is, like I said earlier, a crucial piece of kit and something that everybody should carry, and it's very inexpensive. So again, a situation that we would want to utilize this in is, let's say we're hunting, and we're hunting animals, and we're hunting turkeys per se. Turkeys have a really keen eyesight, right? So we want to camouflage our face the best as possible, and that is to help mask us with our surroundings and blend us in with our surroundings, the woods, so then the turkey doesn't see us as easily. Now, in a tactical sense, time that we might want to use face paint is if we're going into an environment where the enemy has some sort of scouts, they have snipers maybe, or easy ways to identify you, right? So, and if it's sunny out, of course. So if we're out in a field, like a big open field, and we're trying to slowly maneuver our way closer to the enemy and approach them and encroach on their area of operation, we want to put face paint on to again blend us in with our surroundings. So kind of the overall purpose of face paint is the same all around, and that is to help camouflage us better. We wear uniforms that are camouflage, OCP, Scorpion, multicam, whatever you want to call it, whatever camo you prefer to wear, and that's to help blend us in with our surroundings. Of course, I don't have any pants on right now that are any sort of camo pattern or multicam, but we often in hunting or a tactical environment are in some sort of camo from head to toe. And that is, again, to help blend us in with our surroundings. So why would we not blend our face in as well? You know, we have gloves on usually, we have shirt on, we have boots, we have pants, and it helps us surround with all of our surroundings, and then we have our face that has no camo on it whatsoever. So that's where face paint comes in, and that's what face paint is used for, is to help camouflage our face as well, to go along with the rest of our body and the rest of our kit. So now that we know when and where and maybe some situations that we would use face paint into, let's jump into actually applying it now. Alright, so for this, I'm going to take the boonie cap off, and that's because the boonie, covers parts of our face that we're going to want to hit with the face paint. So since this stuff kind of takes a little bit longer to apply, I'll speed up the portions of me actually applying it on my face where there's no actual kind of talking and conversation going on. Just so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me apply it to my face, because that would be kind of boring. So first off, like I kind of mentioned earlier, we're going to take our darker colors. So in this case, I have green, black, and brown. We're going to take our black and we're going to apply it to the high points of our face. So I'm going to apply it to my nose, probably my chin, maybe my forehead a little bit, my ears, those kind of areas. Now, what's important to note is that when you're applying face paint, you don't want to make it like solid stripes on your face, because that kind of stands out. It doesn't look natural. And going along with the natural scheme, you don't want to make them, the stripes, or the pattern on your face, you don't want to make it like horizontal lines. You don't want to make it vertical lines. And that's because in nature, nothing is perfectly straight up and down, and nothing is perfectly horizontal. So those kind of patterns in nature, they stick out. So what I like to do is I like to apply the face paint kind of in a diagonal pattern, and I don't make it like solid stripes. I make it kind of a mismatch, and that's just what I like to do. You can kind of mess around with it a little bit and figure out what you like. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna start applying the blacks on my face. So I'm just gonna take this black, I'm gonna rub it on my finger a decent amount till I get a good amount on there, like so. And then I'm just gonna use this mirror here, and I'm gonna put it on the high points of my face. So I'm gonna do my nose here, get my nose real nice. These mosquitoes are really bad. Probably should have threw on some bug spray. Get that. Get the chin. It also helps with this stuff is warm too. It's a little bit easier. Like so. I'm gonna get my forehead. Alright, so there's kind of the blacks to start. Nothing saying you can't put the blacks or the darker colors in lower parts of your face, but really stick to those high areas to darken those high points of your face. So now we're going to kind of go in with our lighter colors. So in this case I'll probably use green, and maybe wipe some of the face paint off on your pants here. I'm going to use our greens here, and I'm going to fill in some of the lower areas. Alright, so there's some of our greens or some of our lighter colors. As you can see, I kind of applied it in the low points of my face, so mainly the eye sockets are the areas that you're going to want to hit. One thing I did forget to mention though is that make sure to put it on your neck as well, because you want to camouflage not only your face but your neck, and so make sure to hit that at the same time as you're doing your face. And now I'm going to take the browns and I'm going to kind of put those in the areas that I haven't hit and touch up some of the other areas, and we're going to be done pretty much. It's not a super long process. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't need to be overly complicated. So just going to use these browns, maybe touch it up with a little more green, a little more black here and there, kind of blend it all together, and then we should have our nice final product. And there, just like that, pretty much done. Might hit up my neck just a little bit more. Kind of blend that in a little more, a little better here. But we are just about done. Now this isn't like a perfect job by any means. You could probably, make it look better if you're spending a lot of time on it. But in a pinch, this is pretty much all you need right here. You don't need to go super crazy, just to break up the kind of the look of your face. A little more green there. We put a little more black right here. Again, it's okay to put some black in those low areas. It is okay, just to kind of break it up a little bit. But boom, put and there, just like so. Set this here. Take our bony cap, throw that back on, and now, my friends, look at it with the mirror here a little bit. I say that is looking pretty decent. So that's pretty much about it. That's all you have to do to apply. Just remember, the key things to keep in mind is dark colors, so your blacks, your dark browns in the high points of your face, and your lighter colors, your greens, if you have whites, your light tans in the lower portions of your face. It is okay to mix and match those a little bit, but kind of try and keep to those rules there. Now, don't make any solid lines on your face. Kind of blend it together. Don't make any horizontal lines. Don't make any vertical lines. Kind of go at a diagonal pattern is what I suggest. And those are kind of the rules of thumb to follow. Other than that, it's really up to you on what you want the outcome to look like. You don't have to make it super dark. Do make it a little dark because you don't want it to just look like you didn't actually put any face paint on. So keep that in mind as well. But other than that, it's not super complicated. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a ton of time. You can do it quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to end up wearing off eventually. But do try and make it look a little decent, like you put some effort in, you know. And that is about it. I hope you enjoyed this video today. This has kind of been a quick little rundown of, you know, how to apply face paint, why we might want face paint, why we should have face paint with us in our kit, some scenarios that we might want to use it in, and kind of just overview of face paint. Now, I hope that you gained some sort of value out of this video. I hope that maybe you'll go and pick up some face paint to put in your kit if you haven't already. Let me know some future ideas or future videos you want to see down in the comments below. I appreciate the support of those who are watching my videos, and you know, I really enjoyed making this content for this channel. I plan to continue making content and improving as much as I can. You know, I want to make this something that is enjoyable for my viewers and is enjoyable for me, something that I can kind of share my passion about and that I can share some of my knowledge about as well. I continue to learn, and I want to share that learning with you guys as well to help you learn and become better prepared individuals. So again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave a comment down below of future ideas, or if you like the video, or you know, whatever you feel like. If you want to help support the channel, subscribe, like, you know, that fun stuff. But without further ado, I'll see you in the next one.